Hi, and welcome to Alaskan and Thailand. I'm here on the beach again. It's the evening, Monday, or at late afternoon. Not much going on, as you can see. Today, I thought I'd talk about what it's like to be an expat, off into some other country. It takes a lot of gonads to jump on a plane and leave your family, your house, and everything that you have and known behind and jump on a plane basically with your wallet and a backpack and try to make a new life somewhere in your old age. Kind of at the time your body's breaking down too, can be a real challenge. And some probably it just ain't the life for them, or some just can't do it anyway. But those of us that have took the big leap and went in, we go in it with things in our mind that we always have on the horizon. For me, you need to have a plan B wherever you go. And for me, I'm actually on plan B. I started off in the Philippines, Dumaguete. I thought I was going to retire there. After less than 2 months, I realized that it wasn't a good place for me. I was going to have a tough life, noisy, dirty, busy. I didn't really like it. It's okay, better than where I was, but I wouldn't have made a good retirement destination in my mind. I didn't think it was. So I came over here to Thailand. And again, here I am in Thailand, and I still need a plan C now because I've used my plan B, and don't keep that in mind. You got to have another plan C when you use your plan B. So that's what I'm doing. I'm on my plan B, and so far it's much better than plan A, and I like it. But there's always the worries about the visas and things like that. Can you get your bank account shut down? There's just so many things that could go wrong. And then health wise too, are you in a place where you can get some good health care when the time comes? Because we're all going to need it for sure. It's just a matter of when. So you got a lot of things up against you, and then you got a language barrier to deal with, and that's the thing that really, really can affect you. And not only that, are you going to be able to fit in with the culture there? Some things you might not like it. There's a lot of pollution and stuff in different parts of Asia and Mexico and other places. You think of the cheap prices. Yeah, there's our cheap prices to live in certain places when you're an expat, but then there's trade-offs too. You got to find a place that's clean and up to your standards, and safety is another issue. You really, really got to make sure you got some safety wherever you're going. There's a beach cleanup crew right here. There's a bunch of ladies, 2, 4, 6. Uh, so yeah, you got to make sure a few things in mind, because you're going to need like I say, the health care. As you get older, you're going to need that. So you got to have that on the back of your mind. And first, is the government going to leave you stay there? Is the visa available? Can you get that at your age, or you're qualified for it? You might not be. And could the visa rules change? The banking shut down? Like I say, there's a lot of things that could really go wrong with being an expat in another country. You don't speak the language, you don't know anybody. That's another thing. You don't know anybody. So when you are in trouble, you're really just up to yourself and your own resources to get yourself out of it. And you better have the money to do it, get yourself out of the problem you're in, because that's one of the few ways you can approach a problem in Asia. A lot of the countries, it takes money, just like everywhere. You can make things happen when you got money. So that's one thing. You can miss, there's a period of loneliness for being an expat, and it takes a long time to get over that. That's actually a sickness that'll get a lot of people. I know that hit me, affected me for 6 months. I've been out of Alaska now for going on 14 months now, so I'm used to it. I got friends, and I don't really need a lot of people. I'm not a real social kind of guy. I do well on my own. I'm happy by myself every day. It's good to talk to people, and that's good enough for me as long as I can talk to somebody every now and then. But I don't need to hang out with a gang or a group or anybody really. So I meet with my friend once a week to have dinner. We go to somewhere, a temple or something, but that's a good enough for me. But a lot of people, that's going to be a very difficult thing to overcome, the loneliness of being an expat. You can't really bring a friend with you when you come, that won't make sense. He's going to find a girlfriend and leave anyway, and who's going to retire at the same time and want to move to Asia at the same time as you? So you're kind of going to be alone at this, and it's going to be take a lot of courage to get on the plane and say, I'm done with where I lived, I've sold my stuff, and I'm going to try it somewhere else. What I would advise to do is before you sell your stuff, I would go try to live there a month or 2 or 3 if you could, to get a good idea of what it is, because you may not like it there. And again, like I say, have the plan B. If you have a plan B, that gets you out of there. But I seen some that had just Asia itself wasn't a compatible place for them. They were headed back to the U.S. I've seen some people like that, couple of them now, that just this wasn't for them. This wasn't their lifestyle. They probably came from a better situation than here. The air was cleaner, the life was easier, I guess. Water, clean water. They had a boat and lived out in the countryside with beautiful mountains behind them. Maybe, who knows? But for me, this is a upgrade, definite upgrade in my lifestyle. Things are more affordable here than if I retired in the U.S. I can put up with a bit of BS, and I haven't had to really. Just the issues with the visa, and so far I got myself in the retirement visa, and things work out like that. I'm happy, and nothing changes. I'm good to go, and I think I can stay here and make it. But again, I came from a lot of cold, deep snow and ice, and this might not be to somebody else's standard. So keep it in mind. If you get into a place, get in, and you can meet a few people that'll help with your boredom. That'll help with your prospects. Your mind will sour up if you're lonely and staying indoors all the time. So you really need to get out and make an effort to get some sort of social life. Exercise helps a lot. My YouTube channel helps a lot, keeps me busy. So yeah, do that even, and make a few bucks on the side maybe. But yeah, get out and do something. You have to replace all of those things you had back in the U.S. as far as activities and friends. You got to replace all that, and it don't happen overnight. It takes years. I'm still replacing everything, and I won't replace it all, but I'll replace as much as I can. Well, that's my thoughts on being an expat here in Thailand anyway. Your results may vary. Well, I'll give you a look around. Pretty quiet. High tide's coming in. Slow Monday afternoon. Sure to check back for new uploads every day. See you in the next one.